The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
Is Elias Pettersson the next Jonathan Huberdeau, or is he the next Anze Kopitar? Find out on this episode of Locked On Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, co-host of Locked On Canucks, and also a Canucks writer with Daily Hive Vancouver. Before we dive into the show, we got to thank you for tuning in to Locked On Canucks, because it is your Canucks every damn day. And as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Kyle Bowen. Again, we're not here without you listening, but we're also not here without those sponsors, baby. And today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Man, oh man, the Vancouver Canucks are hoping Elias Pettersson can be at least 50% better next season, if not 100% better, because Kyle, we did the research prior to the show, and it didn't take a long time. That was the most disappointing individual effort in the NHL last season. It can't be worse, right? But
Can you say something good? Can you say something good for once in your life about Elias Pettersson, man? Can you just start?
I'm getting there, man. Look, off the top, I said,
why do we have to start by, digging him a grave, talking all this, pooping on him? Come on, man. If you're going to poop on him, at least be a bird.
I could try to do that. Look, I think we will talk about Elias Pettersson, right?
And
he will be out of this world again for your Vancouver Canucks. Again, the no movement clause is kicked in. This guy conceivably here for the long term, because he's either going to light it up and the Canucks are going to want to have him as a core piece, or no one's going to want him, right? But again, is this guy the next Huberdeau, or is he the next Anze Kopitar? More on that in a couple of minutes. But first and foremost, my co-host, Kyle Ballin, man, he'll get a little feisty on a Monday, man. Oh, do you have a good weekend, man? Are you okay? What's going on?
No, I'm just it's a Monday. I want to be optimistic. I don't want to talk so much about the past, man. I want to just talk about how this guy's going to bounce back for sure. I was thinking about this the other day. There's a kid out there, and this is for all the people, including me, who talked a lot of shit about Elias Pettersson this season. I even called him a scam artist because I was that mad. Like 24 hours after there was a report that he actually got scammed out of millions. I was a bully. It turned me into a bully. I've been hugged more since. Okay, I'm getting better. I'm healing. I'll go to therapy eventually. All in all, I'm off the wagon. And Trevor, I was thinking, like, how would you react? Like, let's say you're at the playground with your kids, and you notice that somebody, kid was being super friendly to one of your children. They loved hockey, and you guys started talking. He's like, "Oh, my favorite player is Elias Pettersson." How would you react? Because part of me is like, you'd be like, "Yo, you're stupid." That's what you would say. That's how angry you are at Elias Pettersson right now. For real. And just to circle back on the positivity, I don't know, for whatever reason, I was driving into work today, and I'm like, yo, what if he does bounce back and not just give you Jonathan Huberdeau like numbers, like, 70 points, congratulations, 67 points. Oh, he played really good. He was better than he was last year. No, scratch all that. I don't want Elias Pettersson to just be better than he was last year. I want him to get back to being, again, as good as Quinn Hughes. What if that beast is unleashed? How does he get there? Hey, man, it's a lot's on him, but I want a lot of this conversation to center around what that looks like and what type of player we, once had, still have, and we're missing in Vancouver.
Yeah, and obviously he's got a lot of work to get there, right? Even just like digging through the stats from last season, it's crazy just looking at his point totals, right? I mean, this guy pretty much in every single season produces at like not just a first line rate, but an elite rate in terms of the offense he produces, in terms of setting up his teammates, in terms of not really the volume of shots, but the quality of shots, right? We didn't really see that this season either, except the volume was at a career low too. There's just so much in this game that could be better, right? And some of it, like shooting percentage, may regress back up, but I hope this guy's skating his ass off and shooting a million pucks right now. Like, that is, I think, the main thing for him, and just getting his head right, man, because he's got the skill to do it. Just has to train properly. But I mean, look, when I think about Elias Pettersson heading into next season, it is to me, it kind of is he the next Huberdeau or the next Kopitar? And the reason I say that, we all know the Huberdeau story, right? He signs a big contract in Calgary. And, you know, after 4 years of pretty elite production in Florida, although, you know, Barkov was starting to elevate his stats a little bit. But of course, in 3 years in Calgary, it's been pretty sad. You know, he had a career high as a Flame with 62 points last season. Woohoo! So yeah, Huberdeau obviously is a very scary comparable for Canucks fans, but Anze Kopitar is the other one that comes to mind for me. And of course, Elias Pettersson doesn't have the weight to him that Anze Kopitar does, but he does have those defensive instincts. And bring up Anze Kopitar. We talked about this on the show before, but it's been a while. The 2016-17 season. So this is the third season after the Kings won their cup in 2014. Anze Kopitar, after signing a massive extension paying him $10 million a season, put up a season where he had 12 goals and 52 points in 76 games. And I think a lot of people at the time, you go read old articles from Los Angeles, everyone's going like, what's going on with Anze Kopitar? Like, he had this great season, and is this a sign of things to come? We just signed him to this big deal. He was just named captain that season too, so he had more put on his shoulders. And then boom, the next season bounces.
Oh, there goes Trevor. Just cuts off. I think his computer exploded. And you know, he was just about to get all nice with Elias Pettersson, bringing up the Anze Kopitar thing. And dude, Karma, did you do that? Did you do that on purpose? Huh?
I did not know. It's I like to say I did on purpose, but dramatic effect. But yeah, Anze Kopitar bounced back from that 52-point season to put up like, I think it was 90 points the next season, man. So I mean, look, with Elias Pettersson, look, again, he's in his prime. He's got the skill to do it. If he's right between the ears, if he works his ass off this summer, like I believe he's going to get there. I believe he's going to get there to the next echelon, right? And he's, again, in Huberdeau's situation, like I said, he was, you know, his stats were elevated by playing with an elite number one center in Barkov. Pettersson has been that guy to carry his line mates, right? We saw him put up 102 points playing with Andrei Kuzmenko and Ilya Mikheyev.
But still, Barkov did have a really good Huberdeau, and even Barkov right now, like, at least he has, like, I don't know, like the Kachucks. And I know, even going back to Kopitar, like, who was Kopitar playing with back in the day? Was it like Dustin Brown?
So that season, I was digging back into it, and basically that season, 2016-17, he was playing with two most common line mates were Jeff Carter and Marian Gaborik, who Jeff Carter was 31 at the time. He actually led the team in points that year. Marian Gaborik was really on the far into the back nine of his career. He had 10 goals and 21 points in 56 games. The Kings also have a bunch of injuries that season too. So it just kind of similar to the Canucks in a way. It just, a lot of things transpired against the Kings that year. Now, of course, they haven't won a cup since. It was kind of like the core was getting a bit older aside from, you know, Kopitar and Doughty and whatnot. But again, I do think there's hope for Canucks fans that it can be a Kopitar-like impact where you don't have all the injuries transpiring against you. You don't have any more drama in the room, and you just go out there and focus and play some goddamn hockey and start putting up the points, the elite points for this hockey team like he's done in the past throughout most of his career.
And sorry, how many points did Kopitar have that year? Like, can you say that again?
In his bad year, he had 12 goals and 52 points in 76 games.
And then he bounced back.
Pettersson, 15.
Sorry.
Exactly. Similar numbers to Elias Pettersson.
And then he bounced back with what after that? You're cutting out a bit.
Bounced back the following year with 35 goals and 92 points in 82 games.
There you go. See, I'm happy. You know, I know Pettersson's getting paid 11.6, but I'm more than content with Elias Pettersson putting up 85 to 90 points and just dominating defensively. Because if he plays at his best, you know, the guy who was once compared to Pavel Datsyuk, and right now Trevor's comparing him to Anze Kopitar. Like, you're getting a guy that just sways the game in your favor. He's playing 20 plus minutes a game. He's good offensively, and he'll shut you down. Boom, bam. You're winning more games, and you're valuable. And give me way above a point per game. Like, give me that like super elite offensive ability that tags in with the defensive side of the game in the playoffs. Like, I'm sure Kopitar was really strong in the playoffs as well, and always just that type of player. And I think that's what I was trying to get at when I was like, oh, Like, what does that look like? A lot of us are forgetting like what Elias Pettersson looks like when he's at his best. And yeah, he had that 100-point season with Kuzmenko and everything was going right and Bruce Boudreau and blah, blah, blah. But like, we really don't need that. We really don't. Like, I know we were dreaming of the Kucherov numbers a couple seasons ago because he was coming off the 100-point season. And it's like, you know what? I just want this guy at his absolute best. And you've been more on this than I have. But yo, his absolute best is maybe like 87 to 90 points a season. But that's okay. Look at Pavel Datsuk's numbers. And just even on that note, like, Canucks fans, if you want to go to bed tonight, just hoping more for Elias Pettersson to bounce back and be elite. Just watch the Datsuk highlights. And remember, this guy was compared to him. And it's like, oh yeah, Pettersson can do that. He's so manipulative with like his positioning and how he plays defense. He'll stick lift and get the puck off your stick and generate a chance. And he's always in the right place. And bada bing, bada boom. Like, yo, that guy could still be there. And yeah, if his confidence is there, the offense will come. And speaking of the confidence, Trevor, you know why we got to hope that he's going to bounce back ASAP? Reality. JT Miller's not there anymore. Like a full training camp without JT Miller for Elias Pettersson, okay? A no longer hated employee around you at the beginning of your work season. Hey, come on. That's got to give a little bit. That's got to give a little bit. And yo, I know Pettersson, again, Pettersson has to mature up and he can't take everything so personal, right? Because again, I think he took Rick Tocchet, like not only did he take JT Miller's criticism of him way too personal, right? He also took Rick Tocchett's words on him too. Like Rick Tocchet talked about this guy quite a bit in the media. Wouldn't be afraid. Didn't like even the organization, like from above, like Rutherford and Alvin, like they barely talk about Pettersson in a positive light up until like the last week of July. All in all, though, Rick Tocchet's not there too. Like this is the most ultimate fresh start, you know. So you gotta admit that some of the pressure, because a lot of us think like, oh, this is the most pressure he'll ever face. Okay, maybe you're right, but yo, some of that pressure has to be off, knowing that again, Miller and Tocchet are gone.
I mean, you hope so because, the things that Rick Tocchet said about Elias Pettersson, again, he didn't totally drag him through the mud, but it was, again, Rick Tocchet again glows up JT Miller in his last press conference as a Canucks head coach and talks about Pettersson having to meet him at the 50-yard line, and he can help Petey, but he's got to meet him halfway. Like, it definitely the vibes from when he talked about Pettersson weren't quite the same now.
Again, that's not to say that's Rick Tocchet's fault or Miller's fault. I'm just saying Pettersson, like, of course, he has to mature up, and it's on him because he's going to get criticized by a teammate in a couple. It might happen again, probably will, and by a coach because not every day is perfect, and you're getting paid 11.6. You're that dog. You know what I'm saying? Like it's going to happen, and you have to learn how to not take it personal. Just do your job. That's just what the best of the best do. And but again, another year has gone by, and like we gotta like for us to believe that he's actually gonna bounce back, we have to believe that last year was rock bottom. And it's okay for us to believe that considering all that happened. You and I can sit here today and be like, no, it actually can't get worse than that. No, honestly, like this guy had so much life hit him, even with the reports again of some of the economics that were going on back home with the scamming and whatnot, and the real estate stuff, and the JT Miller stuff, and the Tocchet stuff, and not handling pressure, and all these interviews, and Rutherford being public about it, and all and also having 40 points. Like, yo, Canucks fans, it's gonna get better for Pettersson because it's got to get better.
Yeah, it's got to get better. It's just to what extent will it get better, and how much can his line mates have an effect on that? Let's touch on that on the other side here on Locked On Canucks. Before we get back to the show, let's shout out our friends over at Monarch Money. Man, oh man, my life has changed with Monarch Money because whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch Money puts you in the driver's seat, okay? It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building that wealth, baby. And you know what changed my life, Kyle? Lasting 35 seconds longer in the sack thanks to Monarch Money, because on the Monarch Money app, you can put your partner's spending, investments all on there as well. And hey, that might cause some stress for some people, but once my wife and I got on the same page, the stress, it eased up with Monarch Money. And because there's less stress involved, I can last 35 seconds longer. Hey, my you know what might have even grown a half an inch, man. Who knows? I haven't measured recently. So make sure you take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNHL for half off of your first year, baby.
People, we back doing this. And that's talking about your Canucks, just trying to be positive. The sun is shining. And for whatever reason, man, Trevor, answer it. Why am I thinking about Elias Pettersson, man? I'm 32 and a half years old. I got a lot of, life to figure out right now, move back in with the parents. Like, dude, what shouldn't I be thinking about my next plan, my next business venture, passive income, Trevor? But here I am, telling myself that, there still is a good chance that the Canucks are really good next year because, again, they have somebody to match Quinn Hughes' caliber, and it's Elias Pettersson, and let's do it. Let's just keep, reiterating that, at one point, not too long ago, which is the truth, it actually wasn't that long ago, when we'd have, these debates in the summer, who would you rather build the team around, Quinn Hughes or Elias Pettersson? It was an actual debate.
Yeah, I know it's crazy how far we've come in that time, right? But look, the reason you're thinking about it, man, I think business ventures, this and that, walking your dog, whatever. God, we do this every day, man, and I write about it too on a pretty regular basis. Canucks hockey will be a lot more fun to cover if Elias Pettersson bounces back and is that guy. If he does not bounce back, I feel like the whole 2025-26 season on the Canucks kind of hinges on whether or not Elias Pettersson could be that guy again or not. And
of course, obviously, Trevor, that's 100% because you look at what happened this past season, right? Obviously all this beef happened, and I know we just patted Elias Pettersson on the back, and we're like, okay, Miller and Talker are gone, blah blah blah. He has to live with this too a little because he has to be accountable, and I hope he's doing the most. His actions or lack of actions, it burnt the whole season down. He's probably 51% of the cause of fire. 100%, because he wasn't professional enough or just wasn't mature enough. And again, he probably dealt with a lot and the injuries and the imagine everyone on your team just roasting you. You know what I'm saying? Just not having your back. It was a lot. Don't get me wrong, but this is the NHL. It's honestly, it's the best of the best. And you kind of just have to understand that you got to ignore the noise and realize that winning fixes everything, not just time. Okay. Because I don't want time to just heal everything. Last year was enough time. It's over. Elias Pettersson has to be back ASAP, and he has to take some responsibility. And I believe maybe he's reading books again. My intuition, my biggest source is saying, he actually learned a lesson last year, and that ESPN 30 for 30 documentary, it'll be so much better because of what happened last year, and of course the bounce back that's about to come.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think Elias Pettersson gives these pretty short answers in the media, and maybe you can come off as standoffish, but don't kid yourself. Elias Pettersson is a smart guy. I mean, I don't think many people, even just the way he answered reporters in his rookie season. I remember some of those responses just in terms of the quick wit, decisions on the ice. This is a smart guy. And you can bet your ass that he was humbled by what happened last season. So yeah, I think he knows what he needs to do to be a better player. And Kyle, we've talked about it on the show before. Every Dares know, even just reading some articles, doing some research on the grind of the NHL season, and the fact that if you're not ready off the bat, which he should have known, but maybe injury was a factor. But if you're not ready off the bat, you're behind the 8 ball real fast. And because a lot of players talked about it, you got to really train and bulk up in the offseason because you shed weight during the season, man. It's grueling out there.
Yeah, and I promise not to do too much revisionist history. Let's move forward. But the injury did have something to do with it. That being said, the way he handled the criticism and he kind of turned into a shell instead of embracing it and just looking forward to defeating the challenge as opposed to just playing the victim card is, again, the reason why a lot of last year happened. And it's about him, again, just being more mature and being an ultimate leader, an ultimate player. And now going back to, looking forward to the future, it's like, while we're talking about the Kopitar and the Datsyuks, like those guys in their own way, again, I'm not asking Pettersson to be like the most vocal guy or even, going back to how we dealt with the media last year. I don't need him to do like a full 360 and be the most personal guy. Whatever. Just there's other ways to lead and set a good example. And it's just winning and being a winning type of player. And no matter what's going on, you play at your best. Because again, Trevor Pettersson at his best, X factor amongst the best. Gretzky complimenting, co-signing it. A couple years later, just being that number one center and again, being in the debate, Quinn Hughes versus Elias Pettersson. And I wonder again, Quinn Hughes has gotten so much better. And these are the fun conversations I like to have. Like, I know Quinn Hughes has ascended to you and I didn't know he was going to be this good. We knew he was going to be good. Okay. Maybe you did. I didn't. I didn't know he was going to be like even his defensive skills and when he's healthy, how much he dictates the game. I didn't know he was the most important player in hockey outside of Connor McDavid on some nights. Like, straight up. I didn't know he could get there. Now he's there. And I know he's there. But is there a chance, like, down the road? I don't know. Again, Pettersson, I guess we've talked about the answer is yes, but like, what happens to the Canucks? I guess that's a better question. What happens to the Canucks if Pettersson does get up there? Like, how now are we missing Miller or missing that second hole so much? Like, the trickle down effect, that conversation again. Like, what happens to the Canucks again if Pettersson bounces back? That 1-2 punch, Quinn Hughes, him, good goaltending. We could be good again ASAP.
Yeah, I'm thinking back to this is what just popped in my head when Colorado won the Cup. And of course, they had Nazem Kadri down the middle. He came back in the Cup Finals, made an impact. But he was injured for a good chunk of that playoffs, wasn't he?
Well, he was really good in the playoffs, but he did get injured. Like, I think towards the end, or because he's a big part in that St. Louis series as well. I think he might have got injured in the Tampa series. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, at the end of the day, you typically do need a pretty strong 1-2 punch down the middle, right? Yeah. So Kadri missed about, it looks like it was about 7 or 8 games in that Cup final by the looks of it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, look, in general, you typically do that 1-2 punch down the middle. But Kyle, to answer your question, the Canucks recipe next season is elite goaltending, a top 5 defense, and an average offense. And if Elias Pettersson can, get 90 to 100 points, more or less by himself, the Canucks have a pretty strong shot at having an average offense. And honestly, that would be all they would need. That recipe, I say that, that's all they need. That's all they would need to really at least make the playoffs. And at that point, I mean, defense and goaltending is what wins championships, man. So if you have Pettersson putting up numbers like that while playing elite defense, again, there's so many variables for what could happen with the Canucks next season. A lot of it rides on Pettersson, but man, oh man, he's got the skill to do it, Kyle. Now, we haven't answered the question about what linemen are best for Petey.
Oh, yeah,
let's table that. Because let's cut here and scratch our sacks for 5 seconds and get to Petey's best line mates and some comments here on Locked On Canucks.
Damn, this guy ran the tendonitis report. It's been a while. What a season, okay? Anyways, Kyle Bowen, Trevor Beggs, Locked On Canucks. Just loving Elias Pettersson tonight, man. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Now, before we get to the line mates, I do want to bring this up again, the trickle down effect, right? I'm trying to I wish there was a book on this. Like, again, when you have like a game changer on your team, like, why does everyone get better? Not just the line mates, but just everyone on the bench. And it has, something to do with like being calm, bravado, all this stuff. All in all, though, how good would it be for that room? And I know we always touch on this with like Quinn Hughes, like, oh, like, if Pettersson is good, like, Quinn Hughes is gonna stay. For the immediate though, like, how sick would it be for that room, and like, how much of a story would it be internally, as also outside, but internally, if Pettersson was back, like they like. It would be a thing. Like they would come together around that. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, Petey's back. Like it would just bring up the team morale so much. Obviously for the obvious reasons, because winning fixes everything. But just on a personal level, like, you could see the leadership group really rally around that, and that being just a fun thing for the team to be around.
100%, right? I think happier Pettersson would go a long way towards the trickle down effect. It starts with the on ice performance, obviously, right? But you got to be feeling yourself. But I do I get the sense that Pettersson probably isn't that guy, and most superstars are like this. Pettersson isn't that guy who, like, if he has a 2-goal game, he might be like, "Oh, I made that bad pass in the second period," right? Like that's the way most superstars are wired. That's kind of how you want them wired, to be honest. But I think that trickle down effect is still notable for a locker room, right? Like guys who just aren't happy even when they have a 2-goal game, let's say, right? Like you can't be happy with the status quo. Like you'll go have fun with the boys, but make sure you're always trying to get better. I think that's the main thing. Now, Kyle, I talked a lot about Anze Kopitar and Elias Pettersson, the comparison of the two on this episode. I was digging back a little bit further into that season, and while Jeff Carter was the best line mate that Kopitar had, his most common line mates were Gaborik, Dustin Brown, Dwight King, and Trevor Lewis. Now, that's a pretty sad group of players when Anze Kopitar had his rough season in 2016-17. And we kind of know it. Like Pettersson can't use the same excuse for last year. I mean, it was Jake DeBrusk, Brock Besser, Connor Garland, and Nils Höglander were the main wingers for Elias Pettersson last season. I mentioned before with Jake DeBrusk, I mean, I don't think DeBrusk did his part to really bring much to the table except, be efficient with the goals he buried. Brock Besser and Elias Pettersson didn't have much going together last season. I mean, their numbers get dragged down by the fact that they were terrible together after Miller got traded. Connor Garland and Elias Pettersson actually rocked it in terms of expected goals, in terms of chances. They actually look good with Jake DeBrusk and then Nils Höglander and Elias Pettersson. Good defensive numbers, but not much going offensively either. So, Kyle, we've talked about it before, and I keep flip-flopping on it, but, like, who do you want to see Elias Pettersson start the season with? We know it's going to change, but who do you want to see him start the season with?
Honestly, I don't know why I'm going to this place now. Because again, we did this a couple weeks ago, and I think it might have been different. But I'm thinking about the camaraderie and the leadership part of the Vancouver Canucks, and how valuable it would be for that room to just be lighter and more fun. And can it not be more fun than Brock Besser and Kiefer Sherwood having a lot of success with Elias Pettersson? Oh, there you go. NGK said the same thing. I don't know. I just like when you were talking and going on your spiel, I'm like, I don't know. I know Besser and Pettersson have sucked together for a long time. Although maybe, and you know what, this is not saying much because there's not that much proof, but I do like to hold on to that play that Pettersson made to Besser in that St. Louis game to tie it up.
Yeah.
That was a nice play. But Pettersson and Sherwood had chemistry for sure this year. You cannot deny that. At points they did, and if their metrics don't look good or blah blah blah, it's because Pettersson just sucked. But there were little moments where I was like, okay, these two could play together. They could do work together, and I would love to see Kiefer Sherwood. I know it might cost us a lot, but UFA Kiefer Sherwood playing with Elias Pettersson, straight up.
Yeah, UFA Kiefer the Reefer, man. I mean, obviously one of the best stories in Vancouver last season. I said it a couple days ago. Every day is no. My prevailing thought is that I hope Nils Höglander comes into camp and just impresses the hell out of Rick Tocchet and the staff, because I think that him and Pettersson would be a good match together. And I mean, again, the numbers didn't really dictate it last season, but they both sucked for a large chunk of last season. They both looked pretty damn good together towards the end of last season. And let's go right into the comments, because I want to see Pettersson and Höglander together. But the third guy on that line, that's up for debate. But one of our commenters, he's on the right track. It's easy to forget this, man. Lost on the disappointment of last season, but Dan Jardine saying it here. Petey, Besser, Höglander played pretty damn well for the last couple weeks that they were together before injuries hit. And Kyle, that St. Louis play was included in there as well. I mean, I think Höglander being able to elevate himself to the top six, earn that spot there, gives the team a lot of other options. I think then on a second line, you could have like a DeBrusk and a Garland. We haven't even mentioned Kane and Sherwood yet. Like, there are some intriguing options. I mean, I'd like to see Kane pushed down to the third line. Hopefully other guys can outplay him, because right now I think Kane's slotted into that top six role. But for me, I do hope that it's that Höglander can force his way out of the top line with Pettersson. And then, whether it's Besser, whether it's, I don't love the idea of DeBrusque on that line, but I think probably Besser or Garland or Kane or Sherwood, like guys like that switching out on that line. But I think that's what I like to see. And that's probably the best case scenario for the Canucks as well. Breakout Nails and breakout Petey, man. Let's go.
Guys like that. This guy named every single winger on the Vancouver Canuck. But I get what you're trying. I get that. That's what we're just used to. Like everyone just plays with anyone, and I feel like we just need some stability, man. Please, like some chemistry. My gosh, that would be something. Now, I wonder if you could put Evander Kane and Kiefer Sherwood with Elias Pettersson. It could be called like the UFO line. And I'm being serious. Like having those two guys who are playing for contracts be with Pettersson, it might be enough. And there's a lot of character on that line too. And there would be bravado, like those guys sitting on the bench together, Sherwood, Kane, Elias. Like it might make the game more fun for them.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. The UFO line, dude. That's a good one, man. The UFAs with the alien. Okay, Kyle Ballin, man, unbelievable. Okay,
there you go. Hey, man. Okay. Not, I don't like to. I'm always focused on how I get better tomorrow, Trevor. So we don't have to give me an applause, okay? It's the off season. We run no applauses in the off season, okay, Trevor? We're working here.
I can't help it, man. I love that button.
We're working here. Just slow your roll. You could use that though in Daily Hive. Like you should use that. Introducing the UFO lot. Boom, bam. And you don't have to tell anyone that Kyle made that up. Hey, speaking of what Kyle made up, I didn't make this up. And that was, again, me talking to my sources, aka my intuition, quote unquote. You never know. Again, you got to follow the show. The more and more you follow us, maybe we'll tell you all our secrets. Okay, you don't know who you're messing with right here. Trevor Beggs, Kyle Bowen, more than meets the eye, right? That's a quote. Anyways, Trevor, who was the first one in the market to say, the Canucks are going to target Pavel Zacha, man?
Thomas Trance. No, it was Kyle Ballin, man. Come on, man. There you go, buddy. There you go. Where's that clock? I'm hanging again.
Again, my sources. Who knows if this is true or not? But obviously, Pavel Zacha's on the block for the Boston Bruins. Like, obviously. They're going to want a lot from him. But I feel like that's a team that's, going to tank. They're going to tank. Even though they got Pasternak and Swayman, they might trade Swayman in a couple of months, okay? Anyways, Pavel Zacha should be a guy the Canucks target, and I hope it's not a lot, like super a lot, because I feel like if it's a lot, can they just sprinkle in more on their end to get, I don't know, just someone younger and with more potential? I know Mason McTavish is always brought up, but you know what I'm trying to say, Trevor? Like, don't release everything for Pavel Zacha. That being said, because we've seen like some trades be so weird this year where there's not a lot of value being exchanged, especially for guys in their 30s. Like if he's available at an average cost, I think he's perfect for the way the Canucks want to play.
Yeah,
and that would
honestly,
help, sorry to cut you off, but that would help Hedl at least get a look in the top 6 as a winger.
And I think you're pretty comfortable trading Bluger too. If Zacha comes on board, because Zacha can be a penalty killer too. So I do want to do a bit of a deeper dive into Zacha this week, because he's still one of the names out there that the Canucks have shown interest in reportedly. And I think he would fit with what the way the Canucks want to play. So more Pavel Zacha talk coming up, maybe even tomorrow here on Locked On Canucks. But let's wrap up with another comment. Kyle, man, big times for us here. Late July, I just had my birthday. Clint Andrew pointing out that he just heard you on CBC radio, man, the 3rd time. So big week for you on that front. And as Cinecat saying, big week for me. Thanks to Monarch Money, I can now last a minute in bed. So, dude,
that's huge,
we're both making moves, man.
Making moves, man. Happy wives, happy lives, man. You know the deal. And who heard me on CBC radio? What was the homie's name?
Clint Andrew.
Clint added 2 first names. That's crazy. Anyways, how'd I sound, man? Do I have a career in erotica? Or can I work, in one of those like adult hotlines? Is my voice, what's the word?
Dude,
Sultry? Sultry?
Sultry would be the word.
Yes.
I always thought you would have a career as the voiceover for sexual audiobooks.
That's what I'm saying. Like, could I do it? Erotica, right? That's what it's called. And
Oh yeah.
I'm down to switch it up. You know, I don't know how many Findus are in the space. So if you think I have a good voice, for voice acting, I'm down to try it out. All in all, I hope you enjoyed the radio hit, man. It's if you listen back to that radio hit, you should find it. I don't know where you can find it. The CBC Radio /Findu. I'm sure it'll be up. Yo, you
exactly the hyperlink.
You gotta listen to that conversation because what's the homie's voice who was interviewing me? I'm so bad at this. I'm so bad at names. Too much 420 going on here. Shout out to producer Steve, by the way. All in all, listen to his voice and listen to mine. Okay. We should have a show together. Like I would ditch Trevor just to work with that guy because that guy's voice is magnificent. Like that show would be called The Opposite Attracts. No, The Opposites Attract. Yeah. And me and Trevor are not opposite. Like he's dark, I'm dark. He is Irish, I'm Fijian. If you guys don't know, Fiji actually owns Ireland. It's one of those things like they don't teach you that in school in Canada. Trevor, you know what? Like I don't want the FBI to listen to what I just said there because they don't want me to unveil the truths about the world. So if you don't mind, can you just turn off the show? Sign us out. Hit the like button.
I'll be damned. Well, I'll be damned.
All right, Trevor.
Yeah, that's messed up, man. Fiji owns Ireland, man. Maybe. Okay, man. Yeah. I'm gonna start calling you boss from now on, buddy.
Hey, have you ever been to a library before? Maybe you should read another social studies book. Don't just read the social studies textbook, okay? Go to the library and actually read a real social studies textbook. Come on, man.
Yeah, I learned why I'm stupid the other day. I'll say this and we'll wrap up the show. So took my kids to the library about a week ago and got a library card. My wife's been checking out the books for my kids. So like, you should get a card too, just in case it's just you. So I got a card. And of course I'm in the system, man. I'm Surrey born and raised, man. Come on. I went to Surrey Public Library all the time as a kid. So they pulled my profile. They're like, oh, wow, you checked out over 1,000 books. And then they were like, oh, you last checked out a book in 2006. I was like, ooh.
Damn, great role model.
Yeah, so that's the reason why I'm not very smart, man. But thankfully, just smart enough to do this here on Locked On Canucks with Kyle Bowden. We appreciate all of you for tuning in. If you like what we're doing, go share the episode with a friend. That's all we want, man, is you to enjoy the show. And if you enjoy it, share it with a friend. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about Pavel Zacha and why your Canucks are winning the Stanley Cup. What? I'm Trevor Begg. That's Kyle Bowden, and you've been listening to Locked On Canucks.
Your Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.